So, Wolf, just thank you so much for spending some time to chat with me. Really,
You're welcome.
really means a lot. So, I guess the obvious question I got to ask, which I've been asking everybody, is how have you been dealing with all the craziness going on?
I've been doing all right. I mean, personally, my life hasn't really changed dramatically, other than the fact that we can't go on tour right now, which sucks, of course, and that has changed everything. But personally, the way I conduct my life is pretty normal. I mean, I don't go out that much. I don't leave the house that much when I'm not on tour. I stay a lot of times at home and work on something. So I'm doing okay, and everybody in the band is okay as far as I know. So we're all doing good. I'm just waiting until we can go out there again.
Yeah, and all the band is like spread out like around the U.S. and Germany.
Correct. Most of us are in Nashville, Tennessee. I personally just recently moved to Florida. Mark is in New Jersey.
Hmm.
Uwe is in Germany. Yeah,
Oh, you recently just moved to Florida?
I did from Nashville. Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Near Jacksonville, Amelia Island.
Okay, nice. So the new album "To Mean to Die" is coming out in January. I've been
hmm
listening to it for the past couple weeks, and it's another
Oh, wow.
awesome one. And talk about the title and how it came about.
Title is just a reflection of the times that we live in. We didn't really want to write a Corona album
It'd be
because
too
we
obvious, right?
well, yeah. And besides, we've already done an album called "The Rise of Chaos." That would have been appropriate, and we had a song called "Pandemic."
Yeah, from Blood of
Uh,
the Nations.
exactly. So we didn't really feel the need to write yet another
Another one that's
song like that.
related to what's going on. Yeah,
And the other thing was maybe the fans already had enough of Corona at this point. I've been a little bit afraid of the over saturation of you know, the, the whole Corona thing. So
yeah,
we came up with that statement, "Too mean to die," which is kind of a fun statement, metal statement in your face, a little bit of humor in it as well. So a little bit of fun
yeah.
saying we are the metal warriors and
Yeah.
you can't kill us.
It's pretty much what metal is. Because I heard D. Snyder say metal is the cockroach of music because it refuses to die.
Yeah, it's true.
Exactly. So obviously last couple of years was a bit of I wouldn't say like a rough time, but surprising time, if you will, because you and Peter Baltus were the writing team in Accept for many years. And this time around with a new lineup, I read that the other guys contributed songs to the new record. Do you
hmm
feel like that took some of the weight off your shoulders when it comes to writing?
It did. It definitely helps. Absolutely, yeah, and it was very welcomed because when somebody joins the band, you never really know. I mean, you obviously you play with him and you know what a good player he might be, but you never really know what sort of songwriter he might be until the time comes and you're actually working on a new album. And some guys are writers and others are not. It's not nothing good or bad about it. It's just the way it is. And in this case, Martin really turned out to be a guy who can write songs and has good ideas. And that
Right.
was awesome,
Yeah.
and we didn't know that when he joined the band.
Yeah.
And of course, he didn't quite fill the shoes of Peter Baltus, and probably never will. He doesn't need to because he's a good player in his own right, but he's not supposed to be you know, take his place in every respect. Uh, and that's not even possible. So, but at the same time, it was totally cool that he could come up with some stuff that was ended up being on the record. So,
Nice.
yeah, very good.
What are some of the songs that he sent?
Uh, it sucks to be you. No one's master come to mind. There was other bits and pieces along the way also. Sometimes it's just there's existing songs that we are missing an idea for, and he comes up with something. The song isn't always in its entirety written by one guy. A lot of times I come up with certain parts and then I get stuck, or the other way around. He might have a song idea that I have another idea for that we, turn around a little bit. So it's a collaboration, and it's
Yeah. Those are two
it,
great songs actually. So
excellent.
um,
Yeah.
we spoke a little earlier about the Symphonic Terror live album, which you did with an orchestra. but have you considered doing a full studio record with an orchestra?
Not an Accept album. I don't think that would be appropriate. And personally, for my solo project, I've already done that also. So yeah, maybe I'll do another solo album one day with orchestration.
Right.
Or yeah, I mean that's always a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, I have to say too, because you really have, especially these orchestrations, you got to spend some time on it. It's not something you do in one afternoon or so. You really have
Yeah.
to be prepared to put in the hours.
Probably a lot of work and probably a lot of money as well. So,
Yeah, that too. You know,
so
hiring in a complete orchestra of like 40, 50 people, that's not cheap.
yeah, for sure. If you were to create your own dream supergroup lineup that you would play with you on guitar, who would round out the lineup on vocals, bass, and drums, maybe even second guitar?
Wow. You know, Bon Scott comes to mind. I would have liked to play with him. Actually, I would like to play in AC/DC with Bon Scott and just sort of be in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
You know, that'd
so,
be fun. I'd like to be Malcolm there for a day or something in the good old days.
yeah,
That
for
would be
sure,
fun.
for sure. One other fun question that I wanted to ask you: if you're going to direct a movie in a fantasy situation, if you're the director of a movie, what three musicians would you pick to play the hero, sidekick, and the villain?
Oh my God. What kind of questions are these? Who thinks of that kind of stuff?
It's just something that I thought of to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, good, 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 good. Well, obviously I'm Bruce Willis. There's no doubt there
Oh
because
yeah,
people compare me always to him already. So I'll be the main character.
sure.
And the villain, well, somebody comes to mind, but I can't say it without getting in trouble.
Hmm.
A sidekick. Who would be a sidekick? I don't know. I don't have any sidekicks. Do I have a sidekick? Oh, Mark Tornillo would be my sidekick, of course.
Go.
He'd be my soprano sidekick there. You know, he'd be the sort of the mafioso on the side,
Nice,
working with me on some.
nice, awesome. That'd be cool. Um, what would you say after so many years in the music business? Like, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you have learned?
Oh, I'd say one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that you shouldn't settle for mediocrity. Sometimes there's a tendency, any artist, but surely in music, to think like, yeah, this might not be as exciting as I had hoped, but I'm sure the fans will love it anyhow. You know, that is something that's super dangerous,
Yeah,
and everybody has made that mistake along the way where they thought they had that nagging feeling in the back of their mind, thinking like, something isn't right about it, but I'm hope nobody will find out. I'm sure they will love it anyhow, or something. You know,
yeah, yeah.
never works. Don't do it. You
Right.
know, I speak from experience. You have to make these songs or whatever you do to the point where you are completely happy with them, because then you don't almost you don't care what the rest of the world thinks about them, because you personally think it's the best you could do and you're happy with them, and if they don't like it, tough shit. But
Yeah.
guess what, that's usually a pretty much indicator that it's going to be a good song or success or whatever in the
Yep.
long run, stand the test of time. But if you think like it's good enough for the public, but I personally think it's kind of so, then no, that's not
Yeah.
going to work.
For sure. So I got one final question for you, and then I'll let you go. So it's right now it seems to be like the only thing that bands can do for the time being until playing live becomes a reality again. But have
Yeah.
you guys thought about doing a live stream performance?
Yes, we've thought about it many times and always said no.
Hmm.
Because our shows are so dependent on the audience. I mean, it's heavy metal shows in general, and surely our shows are like all about the audience getting into it and singing along and raising the fists in the air. And if I didn't have that on stage, I'd be just performing to a bunch of cameras and
Yeah.
no feedback after the song has ended or in the middle of the songs. And I don't see it working well. I don't see how this could be anything that's fun for us as a band or even fun for the audience to watch, because they'd be on a computer
Yeah.
seeing us perform to a non-existing audience. I mean,
Yeah.
because we don't see each other.
Yeah.
I don't see what the point is.
Yeah.
I mean, I would almost think for the audience or for the guys at home, it would be better to watch a live DVD,
Yeah.
which we already have plenty of. But you know, at least that stuff is performed in front of a live audience.
Hmm.
But being in a studio environment somewhere or somewhere where it's just filmed and no audience, that's got to be
Yeah.
so weird. I don't see it happen.
Yeah. I'm definitely of that mind as well. Like you can't replace the feeling of being in front of an audience and making that connection as well. So, but
I mean, if it was a different genre of where it's not as dependent on the audience getting into it, like classical music, for instance, you know, it's mainly about a quiet audience, the people are just listening in, and I could see that working, you know, because they're not going crazy anyhow. You know, they're
exactly.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
performing their parts perfectly, and that's fine. But I mean, we're not that type performers.
Yep. Sure. Well, I guess that's pretty much all I got. So, Wolf, I just want to say thank you so much once again for chatting with me. All of us at MK, I just wish you guys all the best. Good luck with the new record. And hopefully, when touring becomes a reality again, we'll see you up here in Toronto.
To that, I'd say Happy New Year. Next year can only get better,
Yep.
you know, because this was definitely not kind of a shit year. Let's put it to end and let's start the new year fresh with a good metal album. Too mean to die.
Absolutely. All right, Wolf.
All right, my friend.
Thank